afternoon, and might I just say, TGIF. From the KUOW newsroom, this is Seattle Now. I'm Paige Browning with a roundup of today's top stories. It's Friday, January 9th. Starting with, Portland officials are condemning the shooting of two people by U.S. Customs and Border Patrol officers yesterday afternoon. Alex Zielinski reports.
A man and woman were shot by a federal agent in the Hazelwood neighborhood shortly after 2 p.m. Both people were transported to local hospitals. According to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the shooting occurred during a targeted vehicle stop where the driver allegedly attempted to run over law enforcement agents. Portland police said they can't confirm any of these details. They responded to the scene after the shooting. At a press conference Thursday night, Mayor Keith Wilson condemned the incident.
We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past. That is why we are calling on ICE to halt all operations in Portland until a full and independent investigation can take place.
The FBI is leading the investigation. This is Alex Zielinski reporting.
Oregon's Attorney General has opened a formal investigation into yesterday's shooting. Governor Tina Kotek has called the Portland and Minneapolis shootings a continuation of the Trump administration's, quote, cruel policies.
When a president endorses tearing families apart and attempts to govern through fear and hate rather than shared values, you foster an environment of lawlessness and recklessness.
Taking actions further, Congressmember Emily Randall of Tacoma has announced she's co-sponsoring a measure to impeach and remove Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem from office. Randall says this week's shootings by federal officers show, quote, Noem's lawless agents are out of control. The Trump administration has defended the ICE shooting in Minneapolis, claiming the agent was acting in self-defense. A new report finds that immigration officials continue to access data on Washingtonians. That is, despite a state law that prohibits sharing that data outside of criminal investigations. We get more today from KNKX reporter Freddie Menares.
Back in 2019, Washington state blocked ICE from accessing data from its Department of Licensing. But the University of Washington Center for Human Rights says those restrictions don't apply to Homeland Security investigations and Customs and Border Protection. UW Center found that Border Protection officials ran license plate data that led to at least 8 apprehensions since August. One of those cases happened in Burien, where Hugo Garcia is a council member.
Nuestras calles no deben ser de zonas de vigilancia.
Garcia is saying our streets should not be surveillance zones and that state systems should not be used as tools of fear. He says Burien and Washington are stronger because of their diversity and immigrant population. Garcia spoke at a press conference calling on state officials to stop sharing that information with immigration agencies. They say requiring a judicial warrant for that could bring transparency to the process. In Seattle, I'm Freddie Menares.
In politics, is your license plate on video? Washington lawmakers are slated to consider new restrictions on police use of automated license plate readers. Fred Thomas is a member of the Washington Coalition for Police Accountability, which supports more restrictions. He says law enforcement use of these cameras could suppress lawful activities like going to protests and other sensitive locations.
This technology needs to be clearly regulated with common sense data protections, limits on how long data can be retained, and penalties for those who violate these regulations.
A court ruling has found that the images are subject to public disclosure, raising concerns about stalking. Some cities stopped using the cameras over privacy concerns. The Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs declined to comment. Where politics meets the climate today, efforts to make jet fuel from landfill gas are moving ahead in eastern Washington. The goal is to make jet travel possible without wrecking the climate. John Ryan reports.
The Dutch company Sky NRG says it's received key permits to build a refinery in Wallula, south of the Tri-Cities. Instead of crude oil, this refinery would use gas captured from landfills and sewage treatment plants as raw material. The company aims to produce 50 million gallons of jet fuel a year starting in 2030. That sounds like a lot of fuel, but it is a drop in the Washington state bucket. The state consumes close to 1 billion gallons of jet fuel each year, most of that in big jets fueling up at SeaTac Airport. Currently, SeaTac alone uses twice as much conventional jet fuel as the entire world's output of alternative fuels. John Ryan, KUOW News.
As we enter some drier weather, it is very much still cleanup and recovery time in places that flooded in December. Local organizations are now raising money for financial relief. Community Food Co-op in Bellingham is one of them. CEO Lisa Sedler says farmers have immediate needs that could affect this season's harvest, such as the ability to buy seeds or livestock feed.
We're very well connected in the community and able to distribute funds quickly, as opposed to FEMA or some of these more federal relief efforts. They take months and years. We can do it in a matter of weeks.
A similar effort is taking place in Seattle. Far More WA is a nonprofit dedicated to helping farmers. The executive director, Joy Moody, says people can donate money or time.
We have the sweat equity program where we get volunteers together and go out to the farm.
You can see a list of other flood relief efforts at KUOW.org. A few shorter stories to catch you up on tonight. The families of 4 University of Idaho students murdered by Brian Kohberger are now suing Washington State University. Kohberger is a former WSU grad student, and the plaintiffs say the school failed to take proper action when Kohberger was accused of stalking women before the killings. He's serving life in prison. WSU has declined to comment on the lawsuit. Seattle City Light customers, heads up, rates went up 5.4% this month. City Light says customers should expect to pay an average of $4 more per bill. Oh, a little update to the DeMond Williams Jr. story. The Husky quarterback, he's not leaving UW. No. He's staying after all. Just 2 days ago, Williams announced he would enter the transfer portal. But he had signed a UW contract, and last night he said he'll continue his football journey at UW. And a reminder about longer light rail trips as we sign off. No trains will run between the Capitol Hill and Soto stations tonight from 10 p.m. to noon tomorrow, and Saturday night from 10 p.m. to noon Sunday. Sound Transit will have shuttles running instead, so crews can do maintenance work this weekend and next. And if you're a driver, a reminder that Revive I-5 work is happening this weekend. Beginning at midnight tonight, all northbound lanes will close between I-90 and 45th Street. They'll reopen early Monday morning. Next week on Seattle Now, the Uwajimaya is returning to its city of origin, Tacoma.
Tacoma doesn't have a Chinatown or a Japantown anymore that it once had. So I really think the fact that we can create a space like this, I've gotten positive feedbacks and get a lot of excitement for it.
Hear more Monday morning. That's all for today from the KUOW Newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Andy Hurst, and I'm Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. Have a great weekend.